Welcome back. Today's word of the day is Mafia. Now you may have noticed my voice got a little bit deeper because when I do the Mafia, I had to look, had the swagger with that as well. But my today's challenge essentially brought up the keyword of Mafia for today. Now, when you're thinking of Mafia, you're most likely thinking of the movies, perhaps real life, in which case you have certain groups or organizations that are just sort of operate beyond, underneath, and sort of around the government, right? So you have just other forces that are at play, putting business, into action. But essentially, what is a mafia? Well, think of Monopoly, right? If you had a mafia with a monopoly, who would that be? Well, that would be Mr. Monopoly. Don't let the top hat fool you. Mr. Monopoly is definitely the one in control. It's not the players that are going around the board, but rather it is the forces that be that control the flow of money, and that is Mr. Monopoly and the bank. So when I think of the mafia, I think of just an organization that yields or wields, I guess I should say, that type of power. In other words, they are so large and or powerful that they're the ones that create the rules. And so, if you've read, what book was it? Will Durant, it was The Truth About Money. I have to remember the name of the book. It eludes me at the moment, but it will come to me. He talks about the banks essentially being the ones that control the flow of money. As a result of that, they actually create the rules. And so with that, think of the mafia in that case, right? If you control the flow of money, you control the rules. So if they control the flow of money, they control the rules. So you think of a large organization, the same things happen. So my challenge actually has been with PayPal. So I'm not sure if you heard back in the day the PayPal Mafia. Well, I'm kind of bringing that back up today as far as the PayPal Mafia, but not in the way that you think. Not in essentially all of the folks that actually founded PayPal and sort of putting other companies together that, they're looking to grow and start up in that sense, but essentially looking at the consumer and how the consumer can be held hostage if the flow of money actually ends up working against them instead of for them. And so in my particular case, I have one of my businesses, Virtual Team Captain. Apologize if it's backwards for you. But virtual team captains, get your game on and let us handle the details. I lost access to a PayPal account back in September. Now, right now it's in December. This is September. So we're talking about 3 months ago. I lost access to my account. Now, this wasn't anything as far as I lost my password or someone took over my account. It wasn't anything like that. It was a simple issue with something called authentication and logging into my account. Now, I believe in having security, so I turn on authentication. It's like turning a light switch on, right? And when I turned that light switch on, all of a sudden, I was asked for two forms of, a password and authentication in order to verify that it was me and that I could only be the only person accessing those funds. Well, it turns out that the authentication mechanism that PayPal is using, it broke. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's almost like getting a flat tire on your car when you're driving down the road. You're not going to be getting that far. Now, imagine it gets worse, because not only do you have a flat tire and you're on the side of the road, but you don't have a cell phone, and everyone that drives by looks at you and sort of just says, someone else will help him. And they just keep driving by. And this just keeps happening and keeps happening. And you're kind of looking like, I don't think I'm getting any help. There's no police officers. There's nothing. People are just driving by, doing their various things. So you kind of look at your watch and you're like, it's been a while. Now, I'm not sure how long a while would be for you. But for me, a month was kind of more than enough, right? So I started taking action. I started figuring out, okay, if I have a flat tire here, do I have a spare tire, right? In my particular case with this whole PayPal incident, no, I didn't have a spare tire. So what do you do if you don't have a spare tire? Ooh, do you have air? No, don't have air, don't have a spare tire. So I guess I'm going to have to walk. So if you look at, I guess, my situation, I've been walking for the last few months trying to figure out how am I going to get access to this PayPal account again. And I did anybody would do, right? When I actually found a phone, I called PayPal. Found out that PayPal cannot address my issues on the phone because all they have are automated teleprompts. That stunk, right? Also, tried to reach out via email, but couldn't find an email address that I could actually send correspondence with. So that's also strange, right? And then, I found out I could get in contact with the company, but I had to get into my account in order to reach out to them. That doesn't work either. So 3 forms of communication just kaput on the floor. And I just had to keep looking and looking and looking, because it's not like you have a friend that's been in that same situation. It's like I was special. It just happened to me. So, like 2 months into it, I'm working, I'm reaching out. And I finally find this old thread that if you want to get in contact with PayPal, you need to start a chat. But usually chats are only started within your account. That also stinks. But I was able to find a way within a thread to communicate outside of your account. So I'm just like, yay, I can actually talk to someone, right? And I've done this 2 or 3 times so far and have not had much success there. I got someone else on the line, reached out, talked, communicated, told them what my issue was. I understood it pretty thoroughly, knew what the fix was going to be, but no one could help me. Why? Because that department does not actually talk to the technical department that can actually fix technical issues. I was outsourced to someone who most likely it felt like they were in another country, just based on some of the language that was thrown over the chat, and they weren't able to help me as much as maybe they wanted to. But in any case, it wasn't as fruitful as I thought it would be. Now, the only silver lining that I thought I had, I guess, was that I was told instructions that I would need to follow in order to close my account and get the money out of the account. So I followed those instructions. I was told that the only method to actually close the account was I had to fax information to PayPal so that they would receive it, they could send me a check for the funds, and they could actually close the account. Guess what happened when I faxed that information in? The number's disconnected. It doesn't even exist anymore. Or it's so busy because I get a beep, 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 that maybe someone just kept the phone off the hook because they're just like, we really don't want to deal with this problem anymore. So at this point, going through all these various routes, I am very disappointed with the customer service that PayPal has. I expected something much better from a larger company. And so I didn't know what else I was going to do. But I never quit. I was always thinking in the back of my mind, there's got to be a way, there's got to be a way, there's got to be a way. And then it revealed itself to me. It revealed itself to me the same way. I'm not sure if you checked out, what was it? Oh, my tire leak and having to fill that tire every week. Posted that, I think, yesterday. But my saving grace was this. What is this, you ask? Well, this is a PayPal business debit card, something I thought I would never use because I didn't have a use for it. I was like, that's why I use credit cards. I wouldn't want to use a debit card. But it just so happens that I had a PayPal debit card for that particular account. I had never used it. So I decided to open it up and call the number on the back and see if I could figure out my balance and actually use the card. And sure enough, I could. Oh, man, that felt so good, right? So I still have to do that. That's definitely on my list. But now I actually have access to the funds that were in the account. And my goal at this point is to just spend whatever is left in the account, make sure that it's closed from the outside. Fortunately, I didn't have too many things that were hooked up to it. But, man, after I am done, I am done. Now, I'm not sure if you remember one of the previous talks we talked about was routines. I was definitely in a routine of being comfortable with services such as PayPal. Had it for a few different businesses. A lot of people actually use it. But I'm sorry. If I can't get the support I need to be able to get my money out, if they're holding my money hostage, I can't do it anymore. So PayPal, sorry. That's it from me. Lost a customer. Hopefully you improve with the feedback that you might actually get from this. But in any case, I got to find something bigger and better. Or better. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this feedback. This is just my take on PayPal, some of the struggles and challenges that I've dealt with. I definitely learned that if someone's going to hold on to your money, you got to be able to access it. If you can't, you need to find someplace else or someone else that will allow you to access it. But in any case, hope you enjoyed this talk. Hope you got something from it. Again, just my experience, but hopefully it shed some light on what maybe you decide to do. So, talk to you on the next segment. Bye.